Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. My name is Child, Mr. Rothschild. I'm a recovering controller. Now that the age of Aquarius is here, I'm hedging my bets and changing my jerseys. The temp agency sent me. When I heard about filling in to do Saturday morning programming, I replied, "You contacted the right man." I'm among the elite in programming. My family has been in the business of controlling since we donned these top hats after the last mud flood. We controllers are better than average at what we do. The Draco have given us a grade of C+. That's better than average. Let's start with sitting your children down in front of the TV, just like the old days of the 20th century. If you can, allow them to eat the cereals designed to disrupt the energy and nervous systems of the body. This is to be sure, this is how we ensure children do not awaken their own imaginations and creative powers. As controllers, we don't want the competition. We can all agree from a programmer's standpoint and a parent's standpoint, this works out for everyone. Controllers get more drones for the workforce, and parents get a little extra sleep. That 5-day work week we designed and implemented keeps people perfectly occupied and exhausted, so that less than 3% of the population advances spiritually. After the subjects have uploaded the programming from the television, what do you Americans call it? The boob tube? And once they have saturated their energy systems with our processed, sugar-fortified foodstuffs, good luck telling them to go outside and play. Their nervous systems and endocrine systems have been hijacked and are now out of whack. You can start with Saturday morning cartoons, and soon enough, you have everyone's imagination under your control. It always amused me, our little solution to the sugary cereals. Don't forget to use our toothpaste. It has fluoride in it. Fluoride affects the pineal... Oh, excuse me. I'm getting a text from the agency. I'm being called away. Excuse me, please. Good morning, I'm Breakaway Ray. I like talking about the breakaway civilizations and breaking away from the one we're in now. Sorry, I think the agency sent the wrong guy to sub in for me. Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. I'm going to start off with a tarot card for all of us. And then, as I promised in the description, I got 3 cards for you. You know, I wasn't sure I was going to turn on the camera today. And then, turns out, I think I really got a nice show for you today. So if you do want to request a tarot reading for the second part of the show, please go to the top fans and click on that and do whatever it is you got to do to make sure I don't miss your reading, please. One moment. There we go. I can see everything much better now. All right, so to save time, I have already shuffled the cards. And just to get us that one card to get going today. And then we'll go right to your 3 cards, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Here, let's go to the tarot cam. Dun, 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 dun. I know, I'm starting to decorate my desk a little bit, huh? This is a canaletto. That's the Piazza San Marco in Venice, Italy. My organite pyramid. That special tile, if you've been following along, you know the story behind that. It's the Mr. Breakaway bookmark. But yeah, I was digging out some books from my bookshelf today, and I found my treasured football card of Detroit Lion grade Barry Sanders. And I'm all, wow, now I can actually share this stuff with somebody. So again, thanks for joining the show. I just showed off one of my favorite cards. And now this card is waiting for all of us. The tarot world already knows what my lesson plans are for today, what I have in mind, what's going to happen, how it's going to affect people's minds, whether they're tuning in this morning or they're catching the show on the replay. All right, here we go, everybody. The top card. Oh, it's the Nine of Swords, which indicates the sleepless nights. Well, I can only speak for myself, I suppose, on this one. And I think everybody already knows I'm a little bit of an early bird. I'm going to turn the card over now, and I'm going to try to find those positive things on the Nine of Swords, those positive messages. Here we go. Releasing worry, hope, and reaching out. For sure, I'm reaching out to you, ladies and gentlemen. And now, how about 3 cards for you with Barry Sanders looking on? Okay. Thank you very much, Tarot World. I know you know where all these lesson plans are coming from. My restless nights thinking about ways to entertain people on the internet here at STARCARD Podcast. So, would you care to give us 3 cards as a group? Everyone who shows up and watches this show, their energy must be matching the 3 cards you want to show us. We're going to throw a position card, and then a second card to indicate the influence of that position, and then the third card to suggest a path forward. Please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear. Thank you. What do we need to hear? What do we need to see? 3 cards, please. All right. The top one, that's the position. Here's the influence. And then right off the bottom, a path forward. All right. So first up, oh yeah. So here we go. First up, the 2 of Pentacles, juggling multiple priorities. We've got several things on our mind. Yay. But it's the Queen of Wands. She's the zest for life lady. So even though we might have some things on our mind, we're taking that energy and we're channeling it to have some fun on a Saturday morning. How about a path forward? I think that we need to keep this groove, this fun attitude we already have for the rest of the week. I don't know what kind of card would communicate that to us right off the bat, but let's see what the tarot world has to say. All right, giving and taking. Great. Being a good audience and a good listener, and then also taking your turn and measuring your words carefully so that it's a fair exchange of information. Keep it all light. Anyway, I'll let you ponder those ideas I just shared. And then let's get the cards away. I do see we have some friends in the chat already. Thank you very much for joining me. Great to see you. And now I have notes. Let's see. Yeah, we were talking about writing. Exactly. Okay, so let me come back up to the top, please. Here we go. So we talked about different kinds of writing the last couple of days, and we've been comparing it to the different kinds of ways people can access the spiritual world, whether it's through tarot cards or scrying with a crystal ball or reading tea leaves or doing a little call and response with your inner self. There's lots and lots of different ways, as many different ways as there are fingerprints, right? About 8 billion of them, maybe. So we also want to, I also wanted to point out, because we've been building on that conversation, my monologue about writing, because I noticed that nowadays, when we want to write, especially if we want to type and we want to compose something, a lot of us have to pay for a subscription, for example, to a software program. And I want to say I'm an old guy, right? Born in the middle of the 20th century, and this seems kind of weird and unusual to me, that you would have to subscribe to a tool in order to express yourself. Not only that, but when you're subscribing, just so that you can write and use, you know, the benefits of having a computer, okay, and being able to do word processing on today's modern computers, you know, you're paying for it, and also you're being surveilled. Certainly in these days, there's some kind of intelligence that's artificial that's monitoring what you're composing, for example. And then the other odd part is that, what if the computer is down? You have no power, all these made up problems that sometimes we have to deal with. How do you access your journal, your diary that's being, looked at by everybody anyway? You thought it was private, but now you can't even express yourself the way you were doing that before. You were only typing. You were not writing it out in a notebook, for example. And so this leads me to even a grander idea, and that is, what if, this happens to civilizations all the time. They put all their thoughts into almost invisible crystals in clouds that no one ever sees. And when it comes time to wipe out the civilization and start anew, all you got to do is click delete. We're missing a lot of information from the past. I'm only saying this kind of tongue in cheek. For example, I don't remember seeing a lot of documents, paintings, contemporary writings about how people built cathedrals in Europe, or even the ones really in the United States. I'm thinking of like some of the state capitol buildings, for example. You'd think if someone was doing something magnificent like that today, there'd be all kinds of documentation. And certainly back then, they had the cameras to do it. And I can't get over the fact that it seems like they had high definition cameras back then. That's pretty unusual. So that's a concept that I wanted to get to when I get to my tarot throw. I want to ask the tarot world to comment on, writing with pen and paper versus writing with a subscription service. I would like to invite the tarot world to make a distinction if there is one. My guess, the way things have been going, my guess is that the tarot world is going to say, it's good, get used to it, you can control it, it's the Age of Aquarius, your brain is way more powerful than you've been led to believe, it's time for you to start opening it up. That's what I think the cards are going to say. I'm trying to anticipate what the tarot world is going to say. But I do have some books I want to share with you today. So let's go back down to the tarot cam, check out Breakaway Ray's library. I can't believe I still have a library. I mean, again, shows what a dinosaur I am. I do see friends in the chat. I haven't read the chat yet. I just want to say, again, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining me here. So let's start with, okay. This is the book Bleak House. And this is written by British writer Charles Dickens. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. And many people know Charles Dickens because he wrote Oliver, and also because he wrote the famous Christmas Carol featuring Ebenezer Scrooge and the three ghosts that come to visit him during the night. So I got this book called Bleak House. Part of the way that this book was written was in those days, Mr. Dickens would write like a chapter, and the chapter would show up in the newspaper, and then people would buy the newspaper and they would follow along with the adventures of whatever was going on in the story called Bleak House. And I want to show you how thick it is. So I don't know why my camera is shaking like that. Okay, so I must be laughing pretty hard. All right, anyway, I'm laughing because when I came home from college, after I'd spent a semester abroad, I was reading this book, and I definitely had a good friend at the time, and he's all, dude, what are you doing? All you're doing is sitting around reading that book. I'm all, I got to finish this book. Anyway, I finished the book. It was a interesting, fun, intense read, but I just want to share this book with you, and it makes you wonder, okay, again, not just showing off that I read it, but look how he wrote it. He wrote all this, and I presume he was writing it longhand, and then he had to get it to a typesetter at the newspaper, and then it all had to be collated into a book. That's a lot of work, a lot of collaboration with a lot of people back in those days. So, anyway, I didn't look into a timeline, but I'll just stop there with Mr. Dickens. Great book, great writer. Okay, now speaking of different ways of writing and expressing yourself, here is, look at that. Okay, sorry about the shaking, ladies and gentlemen. This is the famed book Ulysses by James Joyce. If you've never heard of this book, it doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you what I know about it. So Ulysses is actually a story based on Homer's Odyssey. And Homer's Odyssey was written a couple thousand years ago. Homer, the Greek the great Greek blind writer who had the whole story memorized, and it helped, I believe, that it was all in verse, so that kind of helps when you're memorizing songs. So instead of the story of Odysseus, traveling home to his island to get back to his queen after a long Trojan War episode, it's like a 20-year venture. James Joyce writes about a man's life in Dublin, Ireland, and his name is Ulysses. But the thing I want to get to is that the last chapter, I think it's chapter 18, it's about 200 pages long, and it's got no punctuation. I'm not going to flip the pages. I don't want the camera to vibrate. But yeah, it's about 200 pages long, I think. I haven't checked this morning. It's very long. It's got no punctuation. But the whole point is it's supposed to be stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness. And so if you have never tried writing stream of consciousness, why don't you give it a try sometime? Again, no punctuation. And I believe like the whole chapter was supposed to be what was going through his mind, perhaps even in a dream state. Anyway, it was a tough read for me, but I'll say even the cliff notes on this story are tough to read. One more thing I'll say about Ulysses, I believe that part of it was written, I believe James Joyce was bedridden, he was not well, and he was suffering from blindness himself. So he was actually in bed dictating the story to someone. So you can imagine that your stream of consciousness can, really get deep when essentially your eyes are closed and you're channeling vocally and someone else is writing it down for you. And then interestingly, if I remember this correctly, the man that was writing it down turned out to be a distinguished writer himself, a distinguished playwright for sure. I'll have to look that up to find. I don't want to make a mistake and say which man it was. Okay, so Mr. Dickens, Mr. Joyce, our British writers for today. And now, how about some Italian? Yay! All right, so I was thinking about this book a lot. I think about this book a lot. It's called Invisible Cities by Italo Calvino. And so I'm going to pause and interrupt myself right here. So in the description, I have put, not only, do I have this right? Let me check. I thought I put the link in there for you. I know I copied it. One moment, please. Yeah, I did. Okay, good. So in the description, you'll see a link to this book by Italo Calvino called Invisible Cities. It's in English. And but also you'll see I'm linking you to the Imagination podcast. And it has it's a presentation, an interview with Zara Marley. I believe I'm only 2/3 of the way through the interview. I'm not sure I can finish it. It's pretty intense, ladies and gentlemen. But because I keep on mentioning it, I keep on like dancing around the edges, pitching it up on the apron, as it were, to put it in golf terms, about mind control and what's going on. I did want to post this. A lot of people know about her dad, Bob Marley, the famous musician. Zara Marley was one of more than a dozen children Mr. Marley had, but she was not a favored child. And so the only story I can tell you, right now that troubles me is like she's like in my age group. I think she's in her 50s, and she was sharing with the interviewer Emma from the Imagination podcast. She was sharing how she'll be like in her home and washing the dishes or whatever, and she'll start singing a song, and she'll start singing "I'm stupid and I'm ugly," and she'll sing it like in a childlike way. And this is all coming from the mind training and things that she received from people who should never have been parents to her in the first place. So even though we're trying to have fun on Saturday, sorry to bring that up. I'm not going to let it get past me. We're going to focus on the positive. I got some good things to share here. But anyway, that's what's going on in the description, ladies and gentlemen. So this book really influenced me, if you haven't already figured it out. This book is about Marco Polo meeting with the Great Khan and discussing his empire with him. Because the Great Khan really can't leave the capital, but Marco Polo travels everywhere, according to how this story goes. And so in order for the Great Khan to hear anything about his empire, he has to go by whatever Marco Polo has to say. So I have flagged a page that I'm going to read at the very end before we get to the reading of the other tarot throw and everybody's requests. So I'm going to save that for the end. But I want to say that whole idea of interviewing, between Polo and with Con, it inspired me to write a class play called Polo Bids Farewell to Con. And it was a way for me to teach social studies to 5th and 6th graders at the same time through theater. I love theater. Theater is the first school. And inside the play Polo Bids Farewell to Con, Marco Polo talks all about the United States and exploration. He talks about, our founding fathers, all done in a fun way, tell stories about history for the kids. But nevertheless, this book was the one that inspired me to take that perspective. So we'll come back to this book before we go to all the tarot throws. It's awesome. Okay, then Mr. Calvino also wrote this book called The Italian Folktales. It's a small book. It's fun, short folk tales like you would hear from your grandmothers in the old country. So I took this on vacation. It was a fun read. Mr. Calvino is an easy read. Okay, and then so I want to get to this part. This part cracks me up. So this morning I was going on my hike, thinking, am I really going to turn on the camera today? All right, so I wonder if that Italo Calvino guy knows tarot. I bet he does. So anyway, I went to my bookshelf. I thought I had this book, Invisible Cities, but instead I had this book. And then check this out. This book is called The Castle of Crossed Destinies. The Castle of Crossed Destinies. Check this out. There are pictures of tarot cards on all the pages. I read this book, but I had no idea what tarot cards were back then. And now I totally see what's going on. When I first saw this before I turned on the camera today, I almost started crying. I'm like, wow, what a coincidence. This is the book I pulled out to show everybody on STARCARD podcast. Oh, yeah. I think there's a star card. There's a star card right there. Okay. What else did I flag here? Oh, okay. So I said to myself, after I discovered I had the wrong book in my hands, I'm going to have to reread this whole book. Now I understand the tarot cards. Mr. Calvino had a lot to say in this story. I like his old-fashioned approach to telling stories here. But then I saw this title, The Tale of Astolfo on the Moon. All right. I'm going to be rereading that chapter. All right. Save that for my weekend reading. Oh, look, they got a picture of Mr. Calvino. There you go. All right. Thank you, Mr. Calvino. And, so before I get to the tarot cards, I said, I know in this book, Invisible Cities, there's like little short versions of imaginary places. And I wonder if I could find a short one to share with the group. And I found the best one. So I hope you enjoy this. I started laughing when I read it halfway. Here I go. Oh, man, I'm going to need a little help with my magnifying glass. Here we go. All right, this is called Thin Cities. Can you see this? There we go. Thin Cities, number 4. Thin Cities. Yeah, it's only 2 paragraphs long. Sorry, there you go. It's only 2 paragraphs long. Oh, but there's a lot of punch for the pound here. Okay. Thin Cities 4. The city of Sophronia is made up of 2 half-cities. In one, there is the great roller coaster with its steep humps, the carousel with its chain spokes, the Ferris wheel of spinning cages, the death ride with crouching motorcyclists, the big top with a clump of trapezes hanging in the middle. The other half city is of stone and marble and cement, with the bank, the factories, the palaces, the slaughterhouse, the school, and all the rest. One of the half cities is permanent, the other is temporary, and when the period of its sojourn is over, they uproot it, dismantle it, and take it off, transplanting it to the vacant lots of another half city. And so, every year the day comes when the workmen remove the marble pediments, lower the stone walls, the cement pylons, take down the ministry, the monument, the docks, the petroleum refinery, the hospital, load them on trailers to follow from stand to stand their annual itinerary. Here remains the half sophronia of the shooting galleries and the carousels, the shout suspended from the cart of the headlong roller coaster, and it begins to count the months and days it must wait before the caravan returns and a complete life can begin again. I feel much better now. Now, I want to throw my tarot cards about writing, and then I'm going to check for your requests. Let's go back downstairs. Okay. We're inviting the tarot world to please make a distinction, if there is any, or give us a path forward to consider regarding writing. You know, how valuable is it to continue with pen and paper? Is Breakaway Ray overstating its importance? Or does it matter? Pay to write, why not? Who cares? Everybody's minds are going to be read anyway. They're being read right now. Your cell phone is reading your mind. So don't even pretend like you have any privacy. Let's get the tarot cards and contemplate those ideas. Is it pay to write, which is pay to think? Are there any kind of safeguards we can institute or should consider? Can we trust the system and the people designing it? Meanwhile, if it's written down on paper, I know I can pass that note to somebody. Please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear. Are we getting too worked up about it? We'll let you have the final word, Tarot World. First up, pen and paper, then pay to write. Pen and paper, pay to write. Please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear. Thank you. Pen and paper, pay to write. Pen and paper, pay to write. This is for pay to write, okay. Pay to write. Pen and paper versus pay to write. Oh, convenience to production quality. Pay to write. And the final word, Tarot World. Maybe that's what that Nine of Swords was about. Don't get all worked up about it. Breakaway Ray. Always getting fired up to talk about stuff. All right, let's get the cards aside. This is for entertainment purposes only. I think you all must be entertained because we're in this 28 minutes and the chat is flowing like a beautiful stream in Pamplona, Spain. All right. I like how the light looks too because it is like daylight now in California, so I don't need the extra light here. All right, so first up, this would be pen and paper. Pen and paper, please. Welcome to STARCARD Podcast, where we get a glimpse into the Age of Aquarius ahead of us. The star card indicates health, hope. Let's see what it all says here. Hope, calm, faith, purpose, renewal, spirituality, fortune, good omen, rejuvenation. I would say that writing can be a spiritual activity. And if you want to, to speak in contraries, if you want to share your spiritual activity with an intelligence that is artificial and monitoring what you're typing, that's great. But otherwise, you might get a pure signal and a private signal if you just use pen and paper. Perhaps that's how we're starting off here at the STARCARD Podcast with that very first card. All right. Something tells me this is going to be fun. If we're starting off with my card here. All right, next up, pen and paper, please. Oh, yeah. There's nothing stopping us from receiving public recognition with pen and paper. It's not only healthy for us mentally and spiritually, but most books in history, people wrote with pen and paper. Look at all the pens. There's 6 pens in that picture, right? Not 6 computers, not keyboards. Next. Wow. Justice. You know, as host of the STARCARD podcast and as a writer, I'll just say justice means pen and paper is righteous. I'll go with that for now. Speed things along. Right now, the tarot world sounds like it agrees with me, certainly on the pen and paper part here. Yeah, and the Page of Wands, unlimited possibilities. Yeah, there are unlimited possibilities because it's all up to your imagination when you're writing. And look at that gigantic pen. You know, as soon as a young person learns to write, you know, they open up a whole new world to them. They can soar to great heights. Look at that picture. All right, nicely done. Thank you, Tarot World. Now, we know we got to give it to computers and word processing. It's pretty awesome. My personal concern is, you know, keeping our thoughts private and passing them along and having them at our disposal and, you know, not contingent on whether some system is up. Okay, so word processing and the computer. Yeah, that's what's coming fast. You know, things are changing fast. The 8 of Wands indicates speed. And also, it looks like the pens are going in a downward direction, not an upward direction. So, I mean, that's the way it looks like right now. They're going downward. So, yeah, I get you're right. We're going to be using keyboards more and pens less. All right, I hear you. Next. Yeah. The whole world is going to be using it. That's true. You got it. I agree. There are some things that are hidden about it. That's true. Okay. We don't know who's got an eye on what we're working on. But for sure, someone is, right? In multiple places, in multiple ways. And then finally, well, I comically want to take the card and say, we all better be careful because we could end up out in the cold like these poor characters on the 5 of Pentacles card. But, you know, I love trying to find the positive message here. So even if I have to turn this card upside down, we're going to turn this computer thing, this word processing thing into a positive. Well, I'm not taking back what I said before. Okay. Recovery from financial loss. Improvement. Yeah, so maybe having these word processors where they're going to help these computers, etc. It's going to help us recover from financial loss, and it's going to help us, you know, improve in lots of ways. I'm sure that is the case. All right, and then as a final punctuation mark to this sentence, I got to share this part, okay, because it's exactly what I've been talking about. There is another word on the reverse, 5 Pentacles. It says spiritual poverty. Spiritual poverty. Even when I turn this card upside down, I can still find a message that we should all be aware of, especially if we're not aware of the spiritual world. Okay, I'm going to again compliment the tarot world for you know, spelling out the situation, and now we invite the tarot world to have the last word. Here we go. Well, the King of Swords is all about truth and leadership. Let's see what it says. Head over heart, disciplined, truthful, honest, mental clarity, authority. Ooh, the moon indicates the subconscious and intuition. Wow. And the 9 of Pentacles is the fruits of your labor card. To really get to the truth, you have to use your intuition. And that's going to provide the fruits of your labor. So keep on accessing your intuition any way you can with all of Breakaway Ray's caveats in mind, right? Wow, all right. I had fun. I'm glad I turned on the camera today. Now we're entering the second part of the show. I was going to stay in bed and watch cartoons. Cool. Instead, I went on camera and became a cartoon myself. Hi, everybody in the chat. I want to give my cards a shuffle and get out a piece of paper, and then I'm going to look and see if anyone wants a reading. You know I'm not going to be able to read everything that's going on in the chat. I want to thank everyone for being so courteous and kind to everyone else in the chat and to me, and I appreciate you being here. You know, I hope I put a smile on your face and give you something to think about. Enrich your day somehow. After all, you invited me into your world. I better dress up and look good. You know, I'm not going to come to your house empty-handed. So let me get a piece of paper here. And let's see who's saying hi. Hello, Tiffany. I see you have a number 1 next to your name. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. And number 3, Jason H. All right, Jason H. I got to stop right here and refer to something. Jason, I think it was Jason mentioned this in the chat. I was talking about my story, and this might have been in the Typical Skeptic podcast chat. I was talking about my story, Anthony, capital A-N-T-H-O-N, capital I. And then I believe it was Jason who mentioned that there was a movie in which the actor Anthony Mackie has his consciousness transplanted or uploaded into a different body. And when I was writing that story, I came across it. I'm all, dude, I'm not going to look at that. I don't want to get things confused. Okay, I'm trying to tell the story about how they actually use the consciousness of the actor Anthony Mackie, and they put it in a kitchen artificial intelligence system just to run the kitchen. But it was like overkill. So I just want to say there was a distinction. I had to like go to YouTube and watch the promo for season 2 of that show that you mentioned, and the name escapes me right now. Carbon something, Altered Carbon. And I saw, you know, it shows what I think, you know, the breakaway civilizations look like out there. Visually speaking, that looks like a fun show to watch. But anyway, my story is a little bit different. So anyway, thanks for mentioning that, Jason. Now I'm going to go see if I can find who number 2 is. Let me scroll up here. Oh, hello, Flix Love. Thanks for joining us. And It's Me Again is back. Hello, It's Me Again. Thanks for joining us. Hello, LMAA. LMAA, I don't see a number by your name, but I'm going to write you down because I see you have a question. So I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. LMAA. And you wrote, good job news this month. Okay. Hello, Sally Forth. Thank you for joining me again. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to just, oh, Sally Forth. There you are, number 3. Okay. Well, I got Jason down as number 3. I don't know, I guess the numbers jump around a little bit. So anyway, let's go right to the readings, and Tiffany, you're leading off. Also, I need a pause for a quick refreshing break here. One moment, please. All right. Yeah, Tiffany's up first. Cool. Oh, it's me again. I see you have a number by your name. Did I write you down yet? I wonder why it does that. I got Tiffany, it's me again, Jason, Sally Forth, LMAA. I'll keep an eye out, but we got 5 readings right now. If I did the math correctly. All right, this is for Tiffany. Please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear to help Tiffany, please. These cards are for Tiffany. I was just thinking of that Empress card. Remember when that showed up next to the moon for you, Tiffany? Makes me wonder what's going on there. No, don't tell me my eyes are closed. I'm not looking at the chat. Let's let the cards figure it out. Cool. These cards are for Tiffany. These cards are for Tiffany. These are for Tiffany. These cards are for Tiffany. For Tiffany. All right. Here we go. First up, the Page of Swords. I think we've seen this guy a bunch of times here at STARCARD. New ideas, curiosity, thirst for knowledge, new ways of communicating, restless, mental energy. For sure. That's like a great card for you, Tiffany. You're so curious, and you're busy going to school at the same time. All right, next up, leads right to being the King of Pentacles. That's an awesome shortcut. Knowledge is power, and on the King of Pentacles, it means wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, abundance, prosperity, and generosity. Sounds very promising so far. All right, I bet there's some kind of instruction down here, some kind of clue, some kind of helpful hint. Wow. I don't know if you're going to any kind of special ceremony, I say, but sometimes when I say things like that, it actually is happening. But, you know, it feels like a wedding or a baby shower or a birthday party or a graduation. Wouldn't be a graduation now. Anyway, let's see what it says about the Ace of Cups. Love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, marriage. You know, maybe you're on the threshold of something going on in your inner world that's going to blossom into something wonderful and, you know, memorable. Nevertheless, this could also mean something in, you know, your outer world, what's really going on in your real life. But again, this all looks very promising so far. I think that's because of your perspective. You're always looking for the best in things. You know, it's easy to find the shadows. Look right at the light. Okay, next up, the Chariot encourages you to keep moving, or the ceremony motivates you to move, and it prompts you, and it gets you going farther than you imagined before. You're twice as powerful. You got two Sphinxes pulling you forward. All you have to do is make sure you're focused, and you can tell them where to go. You can take care of both the inner world and the outer world at the same time. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Two of Pentacles show up. All right, but how about the Six of Pentacles? But that's two actions. It's giving and taking. And you would have to give and take in both senses, whether it's the inner world and the outer world. But yeah, I mean, Hermetic sciences, again, whatever you're doing on the inner world, it's really making your outer world look great and a lot of fun. And yeah, that's why party at Tiffany's place, it's Saturday night, 3 of Cups, and that's a celebration. I think the tarot world wants to say you should have a good weekend and that you're doing a good job and you're on the right path. All right, so now that I said all those things, tarot world, let's keep it going for Tiffany, please. Here we go. Here's the last statement. It's the Hangman. Have a different perspective on something. Well, not only you might have a different perspective, you might take another different look at something, and then you might see even farther than you did before. Oh. And then the Devil says something about letting something go, but maybe one of the words on the Devil card actually helps you. And I mean in a good way. We're going to find something good. Thanks, Tarot World. All right. The Devil card, Shadow Self. Well, you know what? You know, if you take a different look, you're going to be able to see farther than you did before, and you'll be able to understand your shadow self better. You know, that's one take on it, Tiffany. But you know what's going on. So I want to say good luck to you, and thank you again for inviting me to read. I really appreciate it. Also, I really appreciate you're one of the very first people to order my book, Let's Go Off Planet with Breakaway Ray. So thank you very much for being a great fan. I appreciate it so much. Really, I do. All right, next up, I got It's Me Again. And if It's Me Again wants to drop something in the chat, I got my eye on the bottom. I'm trying to keep up, but otherwise, It's Me Again. The tarot world knows. Yeah, you're welcome, Tiffany. Again, I'm going to read your comment later, but thank you so much. You're welcome, of course. It's me again. If there's some kind of message you want to drop in there, I'll keep an eye out. Otherwise, the tarot world knows what you want to talk about. This is for It's Me Again. Please show us all, and It's Me Again especially, any fun, helpful messages for It's Me Again. This is for It's Me Again. Helpful, fun messages for It's Me Again, please. Thank you. Gee, thanks for helping everybody, tarot world. You know what you're talking about. They know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm glad I can send a message. Any helpful messages for It's Me Again, please? It's Me Again. These cards are for It's Me Again. It's for It's Me Again. This is for It's Me Again. This is for It's Me Again. Here we go. This is for entertainment purposes only. It must be entertaining because it looks like we're all having a lot of fun today. And it's not even lunchtime yet. All right, here we go. It's me again. First up, it's the Six of Cups. And this is the nostalgia, the happy memories card. Let me read what it says in case any of these words mean something to you. Familiarity, happy memories, reminiscing, childhood memories, innocence, joy, nostalgia. And then, wow, that's pretty trippy to see the King of Pentacles show up. I think this was the second card in our last round also. So the King of Pentacles has showed up, and you should be hearing the ka-ching of the cash register when we see this card. King of Pentacles, wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, abundance, prosperity, and generosity. I wonder if we miss, the nostalgia of security from when, we were kids, because we didn't have to pay rent when we were kids. Things were different when we were kids. Anyway, maybe you got a different take on it. I hope so. This is for you. It's me again. Let's see what the second sentence has to say. Hopefully it's something fun and helpful. All right. Here is the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups person is looking at the cups that have been knocked down. The Five of Cups person is not looking at the cups that are still standing right behind him. To me, Breakaway Ray, I think to myself, you need to accentuate the positive, turn around. Let's use the cups that are there. Don't worry about the cups that fell down. That's life. You got to move on. By the way, you only have two hands. How many cups do you want? You're not Doc Ock. You don't have 8 arms. Take the 2 cups. The universe is giving you what you need. Anyway, got a little carried away there with the Five of Cups because it's a card about disappointment. But that's my take on it. Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Wow, speaking of cups, okay, so when you take a positive angle, you're going to take one of those cups and make it special. We just saw this card last round too, the Ace of Cups. It's like a birthday party. It means love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, and marriage. Yeah, if you turn around and you take a look at the cups that you got, you're going to have new feelings towards one of them. You'll be of a singular mind. It's going to lift you up. Look at that hand. That hand is lifting up that magic cup, which is overflowing. We got so much to look forward to. Yeah, and not only that, the Six of Swords says that you're being guided from rougher waters into calmer waters by a divine hand. So no, your boat's rocking. I don't know if you're like me, you get a little seasick, a little nauseous, but you're being guided to calmer waters. The spirit world is taking care of you, especially if you're looking in the right direction, right? Look at the magic cup. That's like, by the way, the cup is an emotion too. So I just want to mention that if that helps. Yay. And then the World card suggests completion and endings, but let's see what it says because it might mean something different in my sentence. The World, completion, accomplishment, wholeness, attainment, fulfillment, travel, celebration of life, or arriving. Look at this row. We were looking at what, is messed up, but we turn around. We got 2 cups. The universe gave us what we needed. We turn it into something good. We turn it into something magical. Meanwhile, because we're doing what aligns with our soul's path, the spirit world can guide us to calmer waters, and we'll have, the world will be our oyster at that point. That's how I take it. So anyway, I like telling the story. We still got 3 more cards to share with you. Here we go. It's me again. Yay. Everybody knows how much I like the Queen of Wands. Here she is. She's the zest for life lady. Every day is a new day. Have fun. Carpe diem. Queen of Wands. Courage, confident, independence, focused, zest for life, determination, joy. Yeah, make plans to have fun. Go to that party at Tiffany's house. Okay, then the 3 of Wands. That is where luck is, where preparation meets opportunity. So if you prepare for one day, somebody might call you, somebody might like what you have to say or what you do or what you share, your special skill. As long as you keep practicing it, someone's going to, give you a call and say, yeah, we'd love to have you join our team. Well, let's read what it says on 3 of Wands, just so that we're clear. Preparation, progress, foresight, enterprise, expansion, overseas opportunities. And your last card, these have all been so wonderful. I can't imagine how, well, I don't have to. Here we go. The 2 of Pentacles. Multiple priorities, time management, adaptability, balancing decisions. You know what? It sounds like a lot of hard work. It sounds like a lot of action, just living life. Stuff happens and no one expects. But nevertheless, you can manage your goals, even if you have to compartmentalize a little bit. Just don't forget, every day, move forward on whatever it is that brings you joy. And you're going to find that joy. And do it first thing in the morning. Train your day, train your mind to look for things that bring you joy throughout the day. Okay, thank you very much, Breakaway Ray. Thank you. It's me again for inviting me to read. I really appreciate it. I love the practice. And I say good luck to you. Next up, I got Jason H. So Jason had the dominating tarot read last time. He had multiple kings and power cards and arcana, big arcana cards. So I'm going to give Jason an abbreviated read because not to say that he should quit while he's ahead. I'm happy to throw cards for Jason anytime, but you really can't top that one. That was like Fernando Tatis's 2 grand slams in the same inning. Anyway, here you go, Jason. I want to thank Jason very much for his participation and for his subscription to STARCARD Podcast. Thank you, everybody who subscribes. One of the things that gets me out of bed in the morning is, I'm thinking to myself, well, it's Saturday. Come on, man, take a day off. And then I think, I got more than 50 subscribers, and they would love it if I would put on a tie and try to make them smile. So thank you very much, subscribers. Keeping me motivated. These are for Jason, one of my very first subscribers. Thank you, Jason. These are for Jason. Helpful, fun messages for Jason, please. Helpful, fun messages for Jason, please. For Jason H. These are for Jason. Whoa. I just got Tiffany's party card. I think you just got invited, Jason. All right. This is for entertainment purposes only. It must be entertaining. I am laughing and smiling. So as you saw, sometimes this happens. The 3 of Cups card is the celebration card, and it got dealt face up. Celebration, friendship, collaboration, creativity, community, happiness. Sounds like everything I know about Jason. He's always part of the party in the podcast, in the chat. All right. And here's some more cards for you, Jason. Next up, the Magician. You're making your own magic. Yeah, you really are. Action, creation, manifestation, power, self-confidence, clarity, willpower, skill, and creativity. I don't really know exactly what you do in your real life or what your real life is about, but yeah, I believe I'm reading for a very powerful individual. Okay, so anyway, nice card, Jason. Everybody wants the Magician to come to the party. Next up, good planning. The Two of Wands. It means the universe likes your plan, what you've been thinking about. You got the green light, go. The universe is going to cover your six, as it were. Let's read what it says. Planning, progress, making decisions, discovery, leaving home, travel plans. And also it could mean travel plans too, right? If you got to shoot in another city or something, you got to drive somewhere. Nevertheless, you're going to have a good time. And then it'll be restful. The Four of Swords indicates rest and rejuvenation. Four of Swords reads relaxation, rest, meditation, contemplation, recuperation, retreat, renewal, and solitude. Jason's never really in solitude. I believe he was on the train listening to STARCARD podcast. And that's barely being alone at all. Anyway, let's move on to the second sentence here for Jason. Wonderful. We were just talking about how Jason was riding the train. That looks like a picture of Jason riding the train right there. Maybe that's what it looks like in his mind, right? Because he's in touch with the spirit world. So the Chariot talks about movement, progress, action, integration, determination, willpower, control, direction, departure, and courage. And I'm hearing travel involved. Yay, we were talking about how magical you are. Here's the High Priestess. The High Priestess, these two cards have the same kind of color scheme with the blacks and the whites. Just want to point that out. Okay, so the High Priestess reads intuition, sacred knowledge, the subconscious, trust yourself, sensitivity, purity, and high morals. While they all describe Jason, I shall mention this also. It says divine feminine, so it could very well be that you're moving forward with a divine feminine personality, which, by the way, you know, if I don't know, I'm not on any of those apps or whatever, but like if the High Priestess showed up, I would connect with that person. She's not someone I would swipe away, you know. I would say, Jason, you know, good eye, as it were. Nice choice. You're not rushing into anything, okay? Oh, listen, I wasn't trying to make this about romance. You just got the Lover's card, which talks about the strength of two together. I'm going to put the card down now because I'm starting to get freaked out. Nobody should ever listen to Breakaway Ray or take advice from me. You know, think about what you're doing. You listen to some guy on the internet throwing cards. You haven't even shaken my hand. You don't know me, but anyway, this sure is exciting. This little Hallmark movie that's playing out here. Temperance, which indicates balance. Well, sure, if you have the power of two people together, you know, there's going to be good balance for sure. And you'll notice that the angel on the Temperance card has 1 foot on land and 1 foot in water. So it's not just a balance between the two people and the two cups, but between the two worlds, the 3D and the spirit world. Come on, tarot world. All right, and then there's going to be giving and taking, Jason. You know, I should get my notebook when we're done here and write this stuff down and turn it into a story. That was lovely, Jason. Thanks for inviting me to read. I really appreciate it. Congratulations. Way to go. I should take notes. Okay, next up. It's Sally Forth. All right. Wonderful story, tarot cards. Obviously, you were not going to let me leave you in the box today. I know you got some more positive, fun, helpful stories for us. Next up, it's Sally Forth. Please show us and Sally Forth what she needs to hear. What does Sally Forth need to know? Please tell us what Sally Forth needs to know in a fun and helpful way. Sally Forth. These cards are for Sally Forth. My eyes are closed, but I think some cards got flipped up. These cards are for Sally Forth. for Sally Forth. Dedicated listener, Sally Forth. I know she catches my live programs. All right. Thanks, Sally Forth. I appreciate you being a fan. Thank you very much. These cards for Sally Forth. Sally Forth. Ooh. These cards are for Sally Forth. Fun, helpful messages for Sally Forth, please. All right, let's give these a try. By the way, I don't know where we're going to end up, ladies and gentlemen, but I want to remind you that if you really do want a reading, you can connect with me at the email address in the description, and I can give you a private reading. And in fact, the first 2 people who contact me get free readings. I still have 2 free ones I got to give away. But these cards are for Sally Forth. Here we go, Sally. The 6 of Wands indicates public recognition. Public recognition, victory, progress, and self-confidence. I don't know what the public recognition is for. The only thing I know about you is that I see you in the chat. Nevertheless, and that's how we met, by the way, in a chat in another show. But let's move on. Next card, the 10 of Pentacles. Ka-ching! I hear the cash register go. Public recognition, and then the 10 of Pentacles says wealth, financial security, family, long-term success, contribution. That's great. You're going to, there's fame and fortune. These are the fame and fortune cards, aren't they? How about that? I wonder what's next. The Page of Cups says there's going to be a happy surprise. Fame and fortune, happy surprise. This is not like lottery. This is more like, you've done something that people recognize what you did. It may, in fact, bring you some cash, some, currency. Maybe you have an Etsy shop or something going on. But the tarot cards are suggesting you're going to have a happy surprise. And the happy surprise card, the Page of Cups says creative opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, possibility, happy surprise, dreamer, sensitivity, new love. All right, well, these are all happy, fun cards so far. Let's see what else the tarot world wants to say. The Hierophant is the learning card, but it also represents the institutions and tradition and religion of society and its rules. It indicates social approval, conformity, forgiveness, bonded mercy, wisdom, and trust. It suggests some lesson learning. And following that is the Page of Wands. Again, I barely know Sally Forth, but I feel like sometimes it's hard to learn and accept lessons, and I'll be the first to admit that. It took me a long time to recognize what I should have understood a long time ago, but once I recognized it, everything else became clear. So there may be some kind of dynamic like that involved where, you learn about something and it changes the way you look at things. In fact, you can see things that other people can't see. Now, having said that, the Hierophant also could suggest that you're learning something, you're practicing something, you're using an institution or some kind of routine, some kind of organization to help you, and then you're going to be in a position like the Page of Wands, in which you're a great manifester and you can make things happen. The Page of Wands, inspiration, ideas, discovery, limitless potential, free spirit, exploration, excitement, freedom. And I also get the sense, even though we're talking about pentacles, we could be talking about intuition here. You could learn something about your intuition that allows for greater, more prompt manifestation for you. Anyway, let's see what the last row has to say for our friend Sally Forth. Here we go. Yay, all right. I'm really happy to see the 10 of Cups card. It's the Dreams Come True card. Let's read what it says. Divine love, harmony, blissful relationships, alignment, inner happiness, fulfillment, dreams come true, family contentment, total love and support. Yeah, I guess, don't forget what's most precious to you, right? The family, your darling children that I know you drive to school because you mentioned in the chat once, not because I'm psychic. Okay, next. Oh, right, we keep seeing this card show up, right? Well, the whole game of emotions is giving and taking, being empathic, helping people when they need help, giving them tough love if you have to. Great, giving and taking, Six of Pentacles. With the family, where the dreams come true. Yeah, here's another teamwork card. Look at that. The Three of Pentacles is talking about teamwork, collaboration, learning, implementation, building something. Certainly if you're a parent, you're building a family and you're building young adults. You're working on, polishing off your humans, right? Anyway, good for you, Sally Ford. Being a parent is a tough job. I'm not just saying that. I've been in the classroom 33 years. I know from the outside what it's like. And you're doing a terrific job. The cards are saying, you're on the right path with the family for sure. That's what I think. Yay. And the Sun card says, all is well. I'm going to read all the fun words on this card for you, Sally Forth. The Sun, positivity, pleasure, happiness, vitality, fun, joy, warmth, celebration, success, rebirth, all is well. Thanks for everything, Sally Forth. That was a great, fun, exciting read. Nice. And then finally, LMAA, she wants to know, again, I hope I got that right. I don't mean to be disrespectful. LMAA wants to know, is there good job news this month? I mean, I believe LMAA is female. I think so. But anyway, we'll just say LMAA. So yeah, good news for LMAA. The Temperance card showed up. But look, the angel's blowing a horn and sending a message. So yeah, we're asking about news this month for LMAA. That's right. What's the news? Thank you, Tarot World. Looks like you're having as much fun as the rest of us. Would you like to share any news, any helpful news for LMAA about the job this month? I think you do. I think 3 cards could do it. Maybe in addition to that one. News about the job this month for LMAA. News for LMAA. To help LMAA. News about the job this month, please. All right, so the Four of Swords popped out, and I thought, because it popped out when I was asking the question, maybe the Tarot World wants us to take a look at this card. The Four of Swords says rest, relaxation, meditation, contemplation, recuperation, retreat, renewal, solitude. Well, so the first thing I'll say is that it sounds like a message of just relax. I don't mean to make light of it. You're talking a very serious thing for sure. As someone who does not have a job right now, it's very important. Work is very important. But I think what the Tarot World is saying, relax. Maybe they're even suggesting we're going to flow into it. But I have to tell you that on the card down here, okay, down here in the corner, some of these tarot cards have yeses and nos and maybes. And this card says maybe on it. This card says maybe. So if you think, it is a message from Spirit World, if you think so, then, even the Spirit World is not sure right now because, there's a lot of energies and lots of things have to flow certain directions. That doesn't mean that you can't be ready for it. Obviously, you're ready for it. And if you're relaxed, again, it'll flow into it. It will flow into it. But let's take a look at what these 3 cards have to say about the job prospects in September for LMAA. The Seven of Pentacles indicates that there's a long-term view. Maybe that means beyond the month. Long-term view, hard work, perseverance, diligence, sustainable results, investment. I don't know. It suggests maybe it's going to be beyond the month because we got a maybe over there. You're still going to have to keep working at it. And that's a tough message to hear because, when you're looking for a job, you're already trying hard. You're trying as hard as you can. And, you're looking for a break. You're looking for a break. But another thing the Seven of Pentacles says is that, no work is wasted. No energy is wasted. If you're, cultivating yourself for, to do the best at whatever your skills are, eventually you're going to find your niche. You're going to find your home. The universe is going to make sure you find a place to put your skills to use to help people. Look at that. We talked about hard work and the long-term view with the Seven of Pentacles. Here comes the Eight of Pentacles. And we are talking about finding new work. That is true. The Eight of Pentacles, diligence, passion, high standards, apprenticeship, mastery, skill development, repetitive tasks. I don't know if you've ever had an apprenticeship, but maybe an apprenticeship, after someone recognizes that you're a hard worker and you've got a lot of potential, maybe you would accept an apprenticeship as a way to get your foot in the door, as they say, to a job. I'm just making a suggestion. And then finally, the Sun card says everything's going to be all right. So I'm going to mute myself now. I want to wish you a lot of luck, LMAA. But I think like the things that we just discussed, they're probably good ideas to balance in your mind while you consider what's going on with your job situation. So thank you very much for being here, LMAA. I appreciate you coming out all the time and inviting me to read. I learn a lot from tarot by doing readings for you, LMAA. All right. I am now going to lift the camera up and eyeball the chat, which is longer than a magical scroll from an ancient kingdom, and see if I'm missing anyone's tarot requests. I think I got enough in me for one more, but let's see. Yeah, you're welcome, LMAA. Thank you very much. Yeah, you're welcome very, very much, LMAA. Okay, so, is Selena in the house? Hey, hi, Selena. I just spotted you. All right, good to see you. I'm glad you found your way over to STARCARD. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't see anything but a great bunch of chat that I can't wait to read. I'm not seeing any other requests, but I do invite you to, hire me for free if you want a private reading. Otherwise, we'll see you next time here at STARCARD Podcast. I'm going to check out and go have a Saturday. All right, rock on. Let's see if I can remember my new outro. When you go through your day, don't forget to look up so you can find your star. My name's Breakaway Ray. Have a good day.